Well, good morning, fishy folks. Happy Fry Friday. I don't know if you can see that fry right in the middle by the spawning mop on the bottom, kind of right there. But the, what are these called? Lyre Tail, Swordtail, Swordtail things. The female drops from Fry. I think I saw 2 or 3 in here. I don't know whether it was the male or not. I don't know the history of where they were before I got them, but there is definitely some Fry in here. There's one hanging out. Let's see, I don't know if you can see him. No, oh, yeah, there he is. Hey, little buddy. All right, that's the beginning of Fry Friday. I'll be back. All right, fishy folks, we're back, and I'd like to talk a little bit about breeding for profit. It's definitely a hot topic. Corey's done a bunch of videos on it and did a live stream on it, and basically it's where I got my idea. Actually, I got my idea for my fish room from him, and I started breeding for profit because of him. Not because of him, but because of his videos. I saw how easy he made it look. And to some extent it is easy. So let's talk about this tank. This is a 30 breeder, which is a pretty rare tank. The reason I got it was, this space is 48 inches, and I have a 15-gallon tank there. But originally when I built this, my rack, my plan was to put a 55 there, or a 48-inch tank. Let's put it that way, 55 being the most common and cheapest. So, I bought the tank at a flea market for 30 bucks. I haggled them down from, I think, 60 to 30. I don't pay more than $1 per gallon, even on strange size tanks. It's just my rule. I usually don't pay more than $1 per gallon for used tanks, or for new tanks, and used tanks have to come with stuff for me to pay that much. But this tank was just the tank. I used some pretty good logic and getting him down in price. The fact that he doesn't want to carry it around in his truck, the fact that it could break and then it would be worthless to him, the fact that it's heavy and he didn't want to move it. So all that said, I offered him 30. He said no at first, and then he said yes. I took it home. It was heavy. I hurt my back carrying it. I threw it up on my shoulder like I was a strong man, tweaked my back, and kind of gimped out of there, trying not to let anyone notice. I had this 15-gallon tank that I also got in a deal. I think I got a 15-gallon tank and a 5-gallon tank. I think I paid either 15 or 20, and the 5-gallon tank came with a hood and a lid, which I've never seen for a 5-gallon tank. You know, selling used, by the way. But anyway, so I set these tanks up here because I wanted to grow plants for profit. And obviously a lower height tank means you need less of a light, because you need more light to hit the bottom of a tank if it's higher. I didn't really explain that well, but hopefully you get it. So I threw some water Sprite in here, which most of these were probably scraps from my local fish store, or scraps that I had because I had a bunch upstairs. And I bought some some dwarf sag, which you can see behind, right there, behind the algae covered submarine. I bought that from Mike from Arizona. Mike, originally from Long Island, and I don't know where I saw his first video. He makes a lot of videos about plants, and his he has like an outdoor an outdoor nursery. Holy Jesus. And he's got a website for selling plants. He's got some nice stuff. I'll try to link him in the description below if I remember. If I don't, sorry, Mike. Somebody remind me if I don't. I'll put it in the comments. Anyway, so that was a plan for this tank. I got some cheap gravel from Home Depot. I think a 20-pound bag was $5 or less, and it filled this whole tank. I didn't use it in that tank because I had that soil or that gravel which is some sort of fluval thing, I forget. I made the sponge filter, and that's the tank, right? There is a heater in there now. There wasn't at first, but there is one now. And the reason there's a heater in there is I wanted these guys to breed more. When I found out that Lyre Tail mollies are worth quite a bit more than regular mollies, not a ton of money, but, you know, like about 75% more to my local fish store, I want them to breed quicker, which means you heat the tank. Unheated, this tank's probably about 73, 74 degrees. Right now it's probably at 78, 79 degrees, and you can see the population. So, let's talk about the livestock. I went to PetSmart. When they have sale on fish, sometimes they have mollies and platies and guppies, $1 per fish. That's cheap. Have to medicate them, you have to quarantine them, you probably have to nurse them to health more than other fish, but for $1 per fish, it's really not, it's really a no-brainer. Make the investment. I spent $5. I bought 1 male and 4 females. I only see 3 now, but maybe there's 100. Maybe I did only buy 4. I probably did only buy 4 now that I think about it. Creamsicle Lyre Tail mollies, and I put them in this tank. The reason I put them in this tank is there's a lot of plant cover. When mom pops out, you know, 30 babies, they're going to get eaten by the mom and by the other adults in the tank. But I figured with the plant cover, some of them would have a good chance of surviving. Well, using Easy Green from Aquarium Co-op, this tank has taken off. The plants have taken off. And I clear a lot of plants from this tank every week just so there's room. But what it does is it gives the babies lots of cover to hide. I should have made this video yesterday because I did clear off a lot of scraps from the top. Which is, I think, where a lot of the babies, when they're first born, hide. So, breeding for profit, not a bad thing to do. Not very expensive if you do it right. Not right. If you do it my way, your way might be right for you, and you might be making a ton of money, and that's great. That's the great thing about this hobby. There are 100 different ways to do the same thing. But my way, I bought a used tank, I made a sponge filter, I had a heater lying around, I got some cheap plants and let them grow. And you can see the population has exploded. Exploded. The hard part is going to be getting all these babies out without, I mean, it's not that big a deal if I have to move plants because it's just gravel. It's not going to, you know, spring up dirt and make a mess. But let's look at some of these babies. That's probably first generation because, oh, it would help if I actually put it on camera, huh? That's probably first generation right there. Look how gorgeous that is. Little blue in the tail. It's fantastic. You see the tail case? Is the blue coming through? I don't know. Yeah, different sizes in here. There's some different colors. We have some of the babies are really clear. Some of them have a little of the black molly in there. Oh, why is the black molly in here? I bought, probably from PetSmart also, I bought, I think 2 females and 1 male. I think that's all they had. And I quarantined them, and I had them in a tank, and that's when my system got that internal parasite a couple months ago. And the females, I lost the females actually rather quickly. And the male was in that tank, and I medicated the system 3 more times, made sure everybody was healthy, and then I put him in here because I didn't want a whole 20-gallon tank for 1 molly. That's a waste of space. And I figured he could breed in here with some of the other females, and maybe I get some black Lyre tails, maybe I get some gold dust. I didn't know what was going to happen, so I guess we'll see when those guys raise up. But it's a pretty long rant about one fish tank. But it works for me. It was cheap. I do things cheap. It's just how I am. It's how I was raised. Cheap, cheap, cheap. You can see there's plenty of snails in here, and that is fantastic. It just means you have a pretty balanced and complete ecosystem. I lost most of my snail population when I was treating for the worms. In fact, I think that's why I had a tank crash. There was a ton of snails in there, and it wasn't on the system. It was in the rack behind me. And I had those Dalmatian mollies in there. And I came home. I didn't come home from Japan in June. Let me think. I came home from a trip, and there was a bunch of, like 2 or 3 dead mollies. And I think there was an ammonia spike. I can't prove this, obviously. I think there was ammonia spike because there was a ton of dead snails in there. And one of the mollies died, and that caused even a greater ammonia spike. And they were floating like up here, so you couldn't see them unless you looked down. You know, looked from below and looked up, which my son wouldn't. He would have no reason to do that when he was taking care of my fish. And I believe I had an ammonia spike, and that's what killed half of those Dalmatian mollies. So water changes in prime, and that took care of it. And I have, I don't know, 7, 8 left. We're raising them up, hoping to get a breeding colony out of them. They're right there. Let's roll over. Right there. See, they're growing up. There's a spawning map in there in case they breed young, but I gotta throw some Java moss in there. These are the black Lyre Tail mollies I just got, and within 24 hours they dropped fries, so pretty happy with that. There is one other, should be one other adult in there. Yesterday she was hiding in the moss, so I'm assuming she's gonna drop soon too. Alright guys, that's a Fry video for you. What would a Fry video be without Solo and his friends? There's Solo right there. He's got the orange on his forehead. And we're going to call him Skunk. Obviously, you know why. Yeah, that's right, because he smells. We got to do some gravel vac in this tank, though. No. Oh, she's colored up still, but he's getting there. No movement from the angels yet. What's today? Thursday. This weekend I would expect some eggs. Still got this tank on a blackout, working on that green water. You can see it's clearing up quite nice. Lots of fry in here. Mom is ginormous. I don't even know how she swims. We got the Panda Guppies also growing up nice. As you know, I lost the female, so hopefully we'll get a couple females out of the babies, and we'll continue the colony. No fry from these little rams yet, but we're gonna let these guys grow to about 1.5 inches and then throw them in the tank with the gold ram. When I do this rack over the holiday, I'm gonna put them in a 10-gallon tank and let them grow up. So lots of fry in here. I think there's 3 different generations. That's kind of interesting how it's like silver, blacktail. It's got some stripes on it, it looks like. Pretty cool looking fish. There's a couple of them in there. So we'll see what we get out of that. Yeah, nothing really else. These green cobra guppies are growing up nice, showing some color. We'll go over here to the angel baby tank. What a mess. Here's the silver angel baby tank. See it? See them growing up in the corner. Pretty basic tank. Little tiny heater, little tiny sponge filter, water change every day, every other day. Good food, baby brine shrimp, and they're growing up nice. So all these guys will be for sale to my local fish store when they're of size. Alright guys, that's it for Fry Friday. Sorry for the rant about the breeding for profit tank. Hope you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments below. And that's that. Wait a minute. They can't be Fry. Oh, I do have a new breeding project like I said I was going to do. I took the males with the single sword and the fancy dorsal fin. Took the 2 out, put them in here with some younger females, and we'll see what happens. See what we get. I did also add a bunch of Java moss to the koi sword tank. See if any of the females feel like dropping some Fry. Nothing from Little Daddy and his woman yet. Getting a little impatient, but we'll see. They're showing some breeding activity right now, actually. We'll see. This is the actual first batch of Lyretail, Crimskull Lyretail mollies. There's 4 of them. They're about sellable size now. You can see 3 of them were Lyretail, 1 of them isn't. Yeah, that's about it. Blue diamonds. I did put a blue something male in here. Looks like a blue diamond male, but I can't tell you for sure that's what it is. So, all right, guys. What's today? Thursday. Christmas is Sunday, so I may or may not put out a video Sunday. If I have enough time on Saturday, I'll make one. A Sunday Funday Christmas spectacular extravaganza. I plan on spending some time on Corey's live stream, watching and participating and modding and taking care of folks. I know he's going to have some spectacular sales, which I will be taking advantage of, I think. And that's that. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day.